3:30, let's call this meeting order. Let's do a roll call. Mr. Burst.
Present.
Mr. Pope.
Present.
Mr. Tanner.
Present.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Mr. Moy. Mr. Attorney. Mr. Ralph. Jennifer. Here. Okay. I'll ask Mr. Burst if he would lead us in prayer.
Yes, Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you for this day, Lord. We ask that you will bless us, Lord, as we deliberate the business of this county, oh God. We pray, God, you will continue to bless Waycross and Ware County, continue to bless the citizens. We thank and praise you, dear God, for sending your Son to die for the sin of the world. And Father, we just pray, God, you will give us the right thing to say, when to say it, and how to say it. Let us, oh God, be mindful, oh God, that you are here with us, oh God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Let's say the pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a guest speaker here, Mr. Tanner.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Barry Cecil Tanner Jr., and I live at 2761 Autumn Ridge Lane in Waycross. Thank you all for having me and giving me a couple of minutes. I want to talk to you about the Miracle League and a project that we're hoping that you all can help us with. And I don't think it's the first time you've heard from us, but I am here representing the Miracle League Board of Directors. And as a board member, I'm asking for a written commitment today of in-kind and financial support to renovate and resurface the ball field number 6 at the Trembling Earth Complex. The project we're asking help with will include a whole field, that whole field being excavated, an effective drainage system installed, refilled with a stone base and covered with a padded artificial turf, and then lined off as a ball field. That'll be the entire project. Our request is tailored so that the ball field may be used for both our special needs Miracle League players and the Ware County Rec Department's able-bodied kids. This request is for a partnership, nothing more, nothing less, that will allow all kids and players access to what would be the best ball field in Ware County. It's very important to us Miracle League board members that our players play on a field that the able-bodied kids not only play on, but also pass by, and parents of those able-bodied kids pass by. So it's really important that we play on a field out there at the complex. This request is also about inclusion and continuing and growing the inclusion that you all have, whether you're on this commission now or not, you all have for the past 17 and a half years allowed inclusion to take place out there on those rec department, on that particular rec department field. You've allowed the Miracle League of the Okefenokee to use the field itself, the lights, the parking lot, the concession stand, the storage building out there, and we really appreciate it. I have not been associated with the Miracle League all those 17 years, but I know for a fact the board and all those players really appreciate your support in the past. But now it's time to grow and show the special needs community in all of Ware County that you care, that they have a place to play every single chance they get. No more rainouts, no more canceled games, from a light rain the day of a game or even a heavy rain the day before a game. We currently have 15 players in wheelchairs and or with coordination issues, plus many elderly players with fall risk. Wheelchairs do not work on wet clay. Wet clay can also get slippery for those elderly players. Our players range in age from 5 to 75. That's a little bit of a misconception that we're about just kids. We're not at the Miracle League. It's not about just kids. But from 5 to 75 with various special needs. We have lots of players with autism. We have lots of players with Down syndrome. We have lots of players with mental illness. And we have one spinal cord injury player. And if one of us can't play, none of us are going to play. Over the years, on average, we've averaged about 30% of the games that we've scheduled getting rained out, basically, for wet or semi-wet or slippery conditions. And in our mind, that doesn't need to happen and shouldn't happen. So we're just asking you all to please, no more disappointed faces and no more broken hearts. That sounds like a lot, sounds dramatic, but I'm telling you that it happens. These kids and these players look forward to these games like you would not believe. If you've ever been out there, you would understand what that sentence means. No more disappointments and no more broken hearts from a rained out game or a slightly rained out game, or whichever the case may be. It's really past time, 17 and a half years, that these players, their families, the community buddies, and all the fans that show up for those games get a place that they can play that's safe, accessible, and always available when it's possible. We've come here before and taught and gotten good verbal support, and once the most recent SPLOST failed, we were told that the county funds were unavailable, so we needed to raise private money. We as a board and this community believes in this project. So by the end of August, and after a big part of it's going to be the Dancing with the Stars event that's coming up on August the 7th, we're blessed beyond measure to be a benefactor there along with the Magnolia House. After that event takes place, so at the end of August, we'll say, we're bringing to the table $200,000 to put into this project with you all, we hope. Today, we have before us a bid of $518,696 to do the complete project. That's including the 2.5% performance and payment bond. It's for a turnkey project, turnkey being the key there, them doing everything from all the things that we talked about, which is basically taking all the dirt away. In some cases, we heard bids from 7 inches to 2.5 feet. One particular vendor gave us that they're going to take out and then start replacing things back to make this field as safe and accessible as possible. There's at least 2 more vendors out there that we've talked to seriously over the past few months that have not given us a written bid. So I don't think that's the best bid we can get, to be frank with you, but that's what it is today. And one of those vendors who's not given us a written commitment is actually redoing the field or resurfacing the field at Pierce County High School, their football field. I know they're interested, but they have not given us a bid yet. What we're asking for today is a written commitment rather than the verbal that we've talked about for a year and a half or 2 to fund the difference in this proposal, which is $318,000 or so, or a better proposal, which would be less, with in-kind services and or money. And we would like to get the commitment as soon as possible. During the process of trying to get a vendor to come look and give us some prices, I was consulting with the Pierce County Athletic Department over there. They had already gone through that process, so naturally I called those guys, and I'm friends with some of them over there, and found out who they were looking at. And so one way or another, the word got out to Pierce County, and their rec department director and their county manager reached out to me and asked if we would be interested in moving to Pierce County. And my answer was, we'd be glad to talk. And we're talking to them. Right now, they're offering us a place to move with a recently approved to be completely renovated softball fields and baseball fields over there. We don't want the 17 years that you all have given us to be compromised. We don't think it's the right thing to do. So we want your opinion. We want you to give us some serious thought as soon as possible so that we can make a decision for the best of these Miracle League players and this community as a whole. We really appreciate all that you've all done. And we're not going to do anything without you all giving us a commitment first. Nothing. Absolutely not. That's not the way the board wants to work. That's not the way we want to work. But I do want to give you all the facts. They came to us asking us about it. So what questions may I answer for anybody?
This has been a long, ongoing thing. Carlos Nelson and I went to Effingham County to look at probably the most expensive Miracle League stadium in the whole world. Was an NFL, a professional baseball player from Rincon gave it to him. Past Chairman Jimmy Brown was 100%, and he was really into this, and we did everything we could. But it's all boiled down to money, and it was all based, and the plans were all based on the SPLOST tax passing, and it hasn't passed. And Mr. Barner and I were the only ones here during that time, and we supported 100%. But to me, funding a funding source has to be found to match or take up the slack on what your board is doing. It's just a matter of money. The support and the need is there. Just a matter of money for my part.
Thank you. Yes, appreciate you, Mr. Tanner, coming up and explaining about the Miracle League. I learned more about it today than I've ever known about it. And anytime we can do something to enhance enlighten someone else's life, I think is a positive. And as Commissioner Pope alluded to, it boils down to the money. Now, as far as, I know you say you all raised, what, 200,000?
Yes, sir.
And got a bid of 518 something. So that deficit of, 318 is what you all trying to get now. Now, once, say it comes to fruition and the field is done and everything, is there an ongoing cost that the board will be looking for the county to supplement?
Yeah, they're minimal cost. There's a machine that actually Pierce County will be buying for theirs that they use to maintain it, and they're willing to let us use that every now and then. But we'd like for the rec department to consider that maintenance, which is just every month or so, basically going over it with that particular machine.
But as far as a monthly stipend to the board, anything wouldn't be anything like that where the county would have to be on the hook for that, would it?
No, sir. No. The only thing back from us to you all would be if we are going to invest $200,000, that we would have some sort of written agreement that this would be either into perpetuity or for 20 years. The Miracle League has access to that particular field on a regular basis. And our season is simply a spring season and a fall season. 10 games in the spring, 10 games in the fall, 10 scheduled days, But we've got 3 games, every night we schedule a game. So there's really 60 games ongoing in our entire season. But having access to that absolutely would be something we would request if we're going to input the significant portion of the funds, yes. But to Commissioner Pope's point, Josh Reddick is the guy he's talking about. He's with Arizona Diamondbacks today, gave $900-something thousand to make that happen over there in Effingham County. But it's not a regularly used inclusive field, from what I understand, that the rec department, the Effingham County Rec Department, does not get to use it on a regular basis. They use it for special occasions. We took a different approach because we want this to be, we feel like it's important for our players to be included. And that part, I hope I didn't gloss over that.
No, originally we discussed, and I was on the committee that met with your committee. Originally we talked about Miracle League use and little T-ball people use. Right. But if y'all have changed to just whoever needs it, I mean, that's a plus as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. We're talking about this is the whole field.
Right.
So absolutely softball teams, baseball teams. It's a size field that would work for a women's softball team too, girls softball field. And there's some other things that we could do out in the outfield also for our players, possibly, some soccer fields or something like that. We could work with the rec department to be able to use it for that also. And you could actually use it more often than a regular field because of the drainage, because of the turf. So it'd be accessible for that purpose too. Another thing is the income from that field. In Effingham County, for example, the income from that particular field's use when they rent it out to tournament play, tournament play is a big deal now.
Yeah.
Y'all get lots of income from that, or get income from that. This field would not be out of that mix in our mind. And, if it were to be used like that, you could charge more for that field if you wanted to include it in that particular attraction for tournament teams. Our request would be that if you did charge $350 for that one and $250 for the others, that maybe you'll chime in $50 for the Miracle League every time you use that one, just to help us continue to do what we're doing also. But that's something we can certainly talk about. But yeah, completely different than the Miracle League concept that you have in Camden County and Valdosta, where there's $1 million plus. Miracle League field only is what they're doing in those particular counties and communities. And thank God for those people who are able to support that. And I believe that our community would probably do that if we set out to do it. Our board just does not believe that it needs to be exclusive. We're only going to use it for 60 games. So we may be wrong, but we think it should be something for the community. And I know coming up as an athlete and a player, it would be really, really nice to play on something that nice, maybe on championship day or something like that, to have a goal to get to that particular field. But the most important thing is for this community of players, this special needs community, to be shown and to be treated equally and given the same opportunities. It does a world of good for the whole community. I can promise you that. And if you'd like to come out and see a game, we certainly want you to do that too. But I understand the money part. I get that. But I also know if there's a will, there's a way. That's what I say. And
on the contract that y'all check with the other company, talking about in-kind stuff that the county could do, what kind of savings would that be if we went in there and did all the digging out, hauling out?
Steve, great point. Yeah. And Scott and I have talked about that, and that's a great opportunity. So that 318 is on the absolute high side in my mind. Take away whatever you all can do, and it may be 150, it may be 50, it may be whatever you can do to do that kind of work. I've heard lots of it, I've heard little of it, so I don't know. I don't know the scope of what all you all can do as a county and the wherewithal you have to get that done. We would love to see the 318 be 18, and you tell us, go get the 18. You do the in-kind part, go get the 18 or go get the 20 or whatever. We just want you all involved, and we want you to be serious about it and try to get us an option so that we can work together.
Well, in full disclosure, this is my older brother.
Yep.
Very much older.
No.
But I got a couple of questions. We used to, as police department, we were always buddies 2 or 3 times a year. It was a great event, and the age group and the underserved and the handicapped that are out there or disabled, they deserve a place. Do we think that the new money that we're getting from the federal government could go to something like this, where we're serving the underserved, basically?
That we would have to check into. I do know that part of that is an infrastructure, but the only infrastructure I remember seeing is things like water and sewer systems and those kind of things. But we can check into that to validate and see if that's possible.
Because it would be county-wide.
Correct.
Yeah, for all the kids that would participate.
It seems like there should be federal government flowing down that we could grab some of it.
It's possible. We'll definitely look into it to see what the.
I would like to. I support it based on that, based on what Tony brought up. I mean, there is money floating around, but it would take something like that for the county to spend money on it. In-kind services, that's one thing, but funding would have to come from some source like that I see. but I'm 100% in favor of it.
Barry, I support it, but I know we'll have to come up with the funding. Same thing, I appreciate you coming.
Absolutely.
I'll be behind it 100%. And I think we might can find it, we always be positive about it. I think we could, maybe do something.
And, you know, you mentioned about the money, you know, that the federal government is sending out, and, you know, everybody's reaching right now. But we got to find out what we can do, what we can. And right now, we really don't have any clear, definitive guidelines say you can use it for this, you can't use it for that. And so I think that's what we're trying to find out, navigate our way through that also.
Right.
You mentioned about your board there. You have a makeup of your board? I mean, the names and all
Sure.
of people on the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can share it?
Yes, sir. I mean,
I can't do it by
just-
memory, I'm terrible.
no, I can just get it from you later.
Oh, yeah,
I just give
absolutely,
them my
yeah.
email address.
Yes.
Do you know how many members are in the Miracle League?
How many players? Yeah. The most we've had over 2 seasons is like 155 actual players. To Mr. Burse's point, we don't do a very good job, in my opinion, and the board's opinion, of spreading the word. If we had a more certain product and something else, maybe we could get a little more. There is no doubt, Mr. Thrift, that this could be a 250 or 300 player league, even at our league, using one field. That's the kind of interest I think we could get, and interest and service to our community. I know there's that many disabled kids that would love to do this. We've just got to do a better job of spreading the word and making it happen. But yeah.
So what counties do y'all represent? I mean, how
Yep.
far out do y'all go get them?
Yeah, we do, right now it's about 60% of them are for Ware County, and then we do Pierce County too. We've got players from Clinch, actually just one player from Clinch, couple from Charlton, 14 or 15 from Brantley, and I'm probably missing another contiguous county. Bacon County, we've got 3 or 4 players from Bacon County, so they do come from around the area. But nobody greater than here at home.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Barry. Agenda item, let's see, we got the resolution to 2021 and 2022 budget adoption. We want to vote on that. Anybody got anything on that? Need to,
This resolution here is gonna be, it's the part that, would adopt this year's budget for FY '22. And so it was just put in here so that it could be acted on in the meeting, if the, commission so desires to adopt it tonight.
okay.
Do we have the ability to discuss some of it?
Yes, yes, sir.
But it needs to.
Yeah, we'll have the public hearing scheduled for 4:30, so we can discuss it.
Okay, and what if we wanted to talk about some changes or
Oh,
something?
yeah, that would be the perfect opportunity.
Would we need to go in executive session if it's personnel?
If it's personnel, I would recommend that, I would think so, yes, sir.
When will we do that? At the public hearing?
Actually, you could probably start it during your meeting. Yeah, during your meeting, before or after the meeting.
I mean, when would that need to be made as a motion?
During the meeting,
During the
yes, sir.
meeting?
During the regular meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. Anybody got anything they need to find out about it now before we bring it? Okay. Let's go to the public work road equipment purchase.
Yes, sir. Under tab B is some information supplied from last meeting on the heavy equipment purchase for Public Works. I relisted the amounts there. The action taken by the commission at last meeting was to buy out the lease of our loader. That's removed from these numbers. And so the numbers that you have there on your cover sheet for this item, we've got 6 of the 2016 model and 6 of the new, of the current models, 2016, and then 6 of the 2021 models, and what the purchase price would be for each. Roughly, it's about twice the amount to go with the new equipment. The new equipment's at 1.6 million, and to purchase or buy out the lease of our existing equipment is $822,320. That includes extended warranty for that equipment for the powertrain.
How
And
long
then-
will that extended warranty be good for?
3 years, I believe. It'll be
3?
Barry?
We had
Yeah.
3 more years on it?
About 3 years, yes, sir.
It will, Barry, it'll be 3 more years.
It'd be 36 months, but it's just a powertrain on the
Yeah.
engine and the transmission.
In transmission.
And then the bottom 2 numbers, basically it shows if we lease all the equipment for 5 years, our total payments would come to about 1.2 million. And then if we bought it out at the end of the 5 years, we'd pay altogether a total of 1.9. So there's about roughly about a little over $600,000 that we would pay to buy it out if we bought the new equipment. And also included in your packet is financing information. If the commission is interested, we got some we received some good financing terms from BB&T for 5 years. If we rent it, it's 1.32%, and 8 years it's 1.76, and 10 years is 1.97. So, and then I've put some amortization schedules in the back of the packet. You can kind of see how the payments run. But I supplied this and just would leave it up to your discretion on which way you might want to go.
Okay.
So right now, we got a total of 4 respirators and 2 slippers.
Well, we got
6.
a total. Well, from what in this purchase, yes, sir. We bought 2 that's not included in this that we own outright right now.
What model was that?
2019s, I think 19s. We bought them about 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah. And that's not included in this. We have 2, so we moved the whole fleet up to 8. This is 6, and then we own 2 that ours altogether. So they're not included in these numbers.
Mr. Chairman, Scott, just for clarification for myself, okay, I understand about the purchase, but on the lease, you're saying, okay, right now, if we lease 6 of them, it'd be $1.2 million.
Yes, sir, for 5 years.
All right, and at the end of that 5 years, it would be 600-something more thousand
To buy it out.
to buy it out.
Yes, sir.
That's including a warranty, a 3-year warranty at that time too.
Yes, sir. I would imagine it would be the same way. We'd have the warranty under the lease, correct, Barry? Under a regular lease, we'd have a warranty, full warranty.
Yeah, as long as the lease and the warranty's there. Now, when the lease runs out, the warranty goes away.
So at the end of that lease period, we would have to buy an extended warranty.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, and if you bought them out, it'd be the $1.9 million, and you would get to keep them.
Correct.
Okay, but if we buy them outright now, it'd be $1.6 million. We have the 5 years and the I guess 5-year warranty on them.
If we buy the ones we got now,
No, I'm talking, yeah, if we bought the 2021, if we bought,
it would be a 5-year one.
okay, and then we would own those at the end. I mean, would we be buying them outright?
If you bought them.
Yeah.
If you buy them, basically like we did the other 2, we bought them and they got 5-year warranty on them.
This thing works sort of like a lease to own.
Yeah.
You know, you lease to own.
Is Michael Brook here?
He's out on the bridge project, the one that was damaged last night, and he's out there with DOT inspectors.
Does the county need 8 road graders?
I've talked to him about it. He said that they've gone a long time with just 6. And at the time, there was a lot of work going on with wanting some of the roads graded more often, and so we were able to buy 2 at that time. We thought would be a good way to just go ahead and own 2 since we had splossed at the time because they came out of the sploss fund. And so, but I spoke to him about it. He said that they could easily go back to 6 if the commission so desired. He said he could operate on 6, basically.
That would save us a pretty good bit of money, right?
Yeah, you would actually decrease this from 6 graders down to 4. And you just turn 2 back over.
That would be what?
6, I think it come down, if you get 4, I think it came to like 690,000. That would be if you bought, the existing ones.
If you buy them.
Yeah, if you bought the ones that we have now, the 16s.
Based on what Commissioner Barnard just said, I thought about this, and my opinion, my vote would be to buy out the 6 graders, sell 2 of them. I mean, Michael says the auction prices are very high, and have 6 graders like have had for years. I think the days of, since the SPLOST hadn't passed, people still call and expect their road to be graded every 15 minutes when a shower comes. Those days are over as far as I'm concerned, and I think we need to go back to 6 graders based on cost, as Commissioner Barnard alluded to. I support that.
Okay, so you're saying to the 6 that we have right now, just buy that lease out?
My thing is buy the lease out. You've got 2 more that's not included. That leaves 8, and sell 2 and end up with 6 for the best graders.
But then also gonna have to purchase a warranty on them, right? On those 6 that we're buying out.
Well, this says it includes extended warranty.
It does.
No.
Doesn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
that includes the extended warranty.
It includes the extended warranty.
I mean, are those graders in good enough shape they can go 2 or 3, 4 more years?
I think so.
I mean, everybody's scared of tearing up. I know I am a piece of equipment, but I mean, there's some risk you have to take based on cost, I think.
They got around 6,000 hours on them, but they would probably go a couple more years without a lot of trouble.
Okay. See how the next SPLOST goes, if there is one.
Okay.
That's my feeling, commissioners.
Yeah, they probably run 10,000 hours. They gonna be about ready for the junkyard. Junk. But it might not, and it depends on the grader. Is those computers under that warranty too, under that extended warranty? They're not.
Just
The
the
com-
engine and transmission.
The computer's not under warranty.
No.
Have you had many issues with the computers on them?
A few, not a lot, not as much on the graders as we do the excavators and stuff. Very, very little. We have had some trouble, but not a lot. Not a lot.
That can be a major cost sometimes, that computer.
It may be possible.
Whereas if we had the brand new one, we wouldn't have to worry about that for the 5 years because it'd be covered under that warranty, right?
5 years, yes.
Yeah. What do you recommend on that thing, Barry? Keep the old ones?
I believe I would just buy the old ones. It would be the cheapest thing to do, and let's run them long as we can. And get the extended warranty on them. Your motor and transmission is a lot of money if it tears up, and that's what will actually be, covered. I checked on some auction prices on them too, and like the 12M, they would bring close to $200,000 on the auction. And the
Yeah.
120 would bring like 160 to 180, so we've got some equity in them if we're gonna sell some of them.
Yeah, I did too. I checked on some of the
Yeah.
prices on the thing.
I did that today.
It's a good price on it. It really is.
It's pretty high right now.
Okay.
if you bought the 6 out and you sold 2 at a later date, you could take that money,
Right.
stick it away in case one the computer or 2 goes out, then you're covered. It's almost like instead of giving them the money for extended warranty, you take the money out of that and put it and keep it, and then that way you always know you have that over to the side if one of the computers goes out or 2 of them or whatever. Almost like paying your own insurance, extended warranty.
Self-assured.
Self-insured, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're saying right now, the road we're traveling right now is just going to buy out the 6 that we have on lease and take and sell 2 of those.
Yeah, you can sell them now or sell them later down the road, wait a year and then sell them or something like that, but you might want to kind of well, that's what I was going to say, keep a check on the market, and if they look like they're about to start dropping, then try to liquidate them then. Just a thought.
But then we're going to cut it down to a fleet of 6 instead of 8.
That's correct. Yeah, because we'll have 4 out of this at the end,
Right.
and then 2 that we already own.
And you said Michael, he can operate with the 6, or does he need
That's
8?
what he's told me, and I don't know if he's expressed that with Barry.
I talked
Yes,
to
sir.
him today,
Yeah.
and he can go back to.
Yeah. They started using 8, about 2 years ago.
Do we have employees that can run 8 at a time?
He's got them out there now, I believe. Yes, sir.
He's got people who run,
Yeah.
sometimes you might have to shut something else down, but, keep them all running. He's been keeping them all running pretty quick.
But that would help free up 2 employees to do something else too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So total money to buy all 6 of them, sell 2 of them, what kind of money are you talking about now?
If you buy out all 6, and that's like I said, taking out that loader that we've already purchased buyout, you're looking at altogether, including exterior warranty, is $822,320. And I believe the extended warranty, that is an estimate. I don't think they can give us a hard number, but I think that was a very close estimate of what the extended warranty would be on that
If we
equipment.
sell 2, that'd drop it down to, 320. Just not drop it down half.
Almost, yes, sir. And I think the thought was to, if you sold 2 now, and if you bought the 6 out and then either sell 2 of those or wait and sell 2, keep 2 of the graders and keep the 2 slopers, I believe is what he expressed. So that way you would have 4 graders and 2 slopers at the very end.
Have we got money to buy them with?
Yes, sir.
Buy at least where they come from?
Yep. Now, one of the things that, you all might want to discuss is maybe putting half of that down and financing the other half of it, just to kind of keep from using up, because the money would come out of SPLOST, the 2014 SPLOST.
You could give us those proposals on financing, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
How many years will they go on that? Used equipment.
From what we saw here, and I think Beverly, I don't know if they gave us a year model cutoff, but they're 5 years, 8 years, and 10 years.
They would?
Yes, sir. And I would suggest if we do that, just go for the 5 years, because that way you can pay them all. Or pay them off early if you wanted to.
And this would even apply to the ones that are older ones, or
Yes,
just
sir.
new purchases only?
Yes, sir. We can verify that. The lease doesn't go out until September anyway, so if we want to make sure of that, but we do have the money in SPLOST if we just want to go that route. Or the regional, we tried the regional T-SPLOST, trying to hold on to it, but there's money there if we wanted to use it for that.
All right, any more on it? All right, let's go to the, resolution number 2021-10, accept local recovery assistance fund.
Yes, sir. This resolution under tab C is just a resolution to authorize, to approve and authorize the county manager, the accounting supervisor, and the chairman to execute any documents when we go to apply for those funds, like the ones we were talking about earlier. This is just one of the requirements that we have to have on file to do that. More of a formality than anything.
Okay. All right, then, anybody got anything on that? They need to find out. Okay. Let's go to the, D.
Okay, and under
the
tab D
inmate
is
work
the,
detail contract.
yes, sir. This is just for one work detail, through the Georgia Department of Corrections.
How many men?
They typically say 8 to 10.
How
That
many
was
days?
our problem before. We weren't getting but 1 or 2, and then it got to be sometimes they wouldn't show up, and then COVID hit, and so it kind of all went away. But they tell you I think it's a guarantee of 8, which would be great. But there's been times in the past where you'll be lucky if you get 2 or 3.
Every day?
Pretty much every day except Fridays.
They get Friday off?
For the record, what's the cost of the contract?
$49,318, and so they monitor it every day to see how many show up and so forth. So that way we can keep a log of how many's showing up, just to make sure that we're getting our money's worth. And basically, that amount pays for the correctional officer. We have to supply the equipment and the transportation, and we still have our bus, right? Yeah.
And I also, when I was reading that, there's provision, and also if something comes up and say they can't make it out for a week or whatever, they got it prorated out to where the cost per day, we won't have to pay it.
Right. Or something happens there at the facility and they can't release them or something, so we keep up with it too. They're definitely a big benefit when you have a good number of them. They really are. So, if we can get them supplied, it's well worth the money.
We got enough work to keep 2 or 3 details on.
That is true.
Yeah, we need to. All right, anything else on it?
The only question I had on it, and I may be wrong, was everything's attention James Brown. Is that somebody I don't know about? Is that the past chairman?
Past chairman, yes, sir. I've notified them. They've been sending it to the previous chairman, so I notified them, and instead of going through and pulling out the other letter, I just left that one in there.
Anything else? Okay, let's go to the Manor Millwood Road Drainage Improvement Bid Award.
Yes, sir. This is the Manor Millwood Drainage Project, or Improvement Project. We received 2 bids. Allen Owens Construction in the amount of $81,032, and Thrift Brothers LLC in the amount of $65,085. And we initially had a LMIG, a special LMIG, I guess you could say, in the amount of $47,800. The bids came in higher than what we anticipated, and I sent a letter back to DOT to give them the information, and they gave us an extra $12,000. So if you add the 2 amounts that they gave us, came to $59,800. And so with that difference, with what the bid amount is, the county would have to participate at $5,285. And this is the area right next to the Methodist Church there in Maine.
This so-called drainage problem is the result of the 4-laning of the highway?
That's what I've been told.
So basically, the county's gone fix the drainage problem that kind of like a pass-through from DOT. We fixed their mistake. Okay.
All right.
I'm just glad that they came back and decided to
Yeah.
put a little bit more into the kitty,
Yeah.
because it was like 47 and they went to 12, so.
Yes, sir.
And I think the county was 5,000 something that we'll be out of.
Yeah.
Right about $5,300.
Okay.
Okay, Scott, on his contract, we was gonna get an affidavit signed by each one of the county commissioners stating that,
Yeah.
we will not have no direct input, just like in the chairman's situation where his boys is the one that bidded on this. If y'all got the affidavits ready for us to sign and the
Was
chairman
that
to
something y'all were
sign?
gonna work on? The affidavits?
We can, yeah.
Yeah, I know that Jennifer said they could draw one up, draft one for y'all to sign if that's the desire of the commission for each one of you.
And that would be each one signing for what now?
I thought that was the December.
You brought it up.
We did.
No, I'm
but
talking
we never did
I know he,
sign.
I thought the chairman was supposed to sign one.
But
Oh, it was all of us.
I think each one of the commissioners.
Yeah,
wants to have
we need all the
sign
signers,
on.
not aimed
Okay,
at
say if my
the chairman.
son-in-law wanted to bid on a concrete
Yeah.
project, something other.
I might want to sell the county a swimming pool. So you might want to build the county a house.
Yeah, okay, well, I have no problem, but I know we.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with
Chairman.
signing, I don't.
I don't have a problem.
I want to make sure I understand. We understood the direction when we talked about the policy involving conflicts of interest with the commissioners, and we do have a draft policy put together that we intend to have before you all probably at the next board meeting, so you can actually see in writing what was verbally discussed and voted upon at a previous meeting. My understanding was that whoever what I'll call the related commissioner was, that was the person who was somehow, related to someone who was doing a bid or a service. They were the one that would sign an affidavit basically saying that they did not have any ownership interest in that company. But if it's the desire of the commission are you saying it's the desire for the commission for every project that every commissioner would sign that affidavit?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we could break it down to each individual contract, if somebody bids on it.
Right.
and it's conflict of interest, one commissioner, we can sign the affidavit then, or either just go ahead and do it one for now on.
Well, that was my understanding, and with the chairman, was that he said he doesn't have a financial stake into the company and he doesn't have any involvement with it, that he would sign it indicating that because of this project. And I wouldn't see why all of us have to sign just a blanket thing unless we were impacted by it. Say for instance, if, like Jerry said, if his son was getting ready to put a pool in, but then he would need to sign one because it wouldn't really be pertinent to me.
Well, we can just do it on an as-needed basis.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was just the
Situation
chairman.
comes up, then do it. But the chairman needs to sign one before.
Oh, yeah.
That, before we bid that out.
And that was my understanding. The direction of the board was
Right.
just something very simple, stating that there was no ownership interest by a commissioner in the company,
Right.
or whoever the related commissioner was. But yes, we can put that together.
I agree with you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Okay, anything else on that? That
So
work
if
at
we're
Painter?
gonna postpone the setting the bid, or we're gonna go ahead and do the bid at the regular meeting and let him sign it and y'all get it, or how we gonna do that?
I mean, the last time, I think, my understanding was that you all just want something on record that, the chairman's already told us verbally that he has no ownership and interest in the company. And so you're just asking for that to be in writing.
Right.
And so that will just formalize what's already been put into the minutes of the meeting.
We voted on a road project
That's
last
right.
week in your area without him signing it.
Yeah, we done one to them.
Which one?
The one out there on,
Yep.
US 1 side.
Yep. Yeah, we did do that, Tony,
That's chairman, that's Jerry.
but that was with the understanding that the affidavit would be,
Right.
even though we awarded the bid, but he's got to still sign it,
Can we do one affidavit that says anytime that Thrift LLC does work and let him sign it, be done with it, so we don't have to sign it every time?
Yeah, I don't think we need to do it for every contract if they award, just like this Maynard Mill would. And once he signed that one contract, one affidavit, then it will be pertinent to each bid that Thrift Brothers LLC was successful in getting, not each project itself.
This is a local policy that the Board of Commissioners here has put into place, so we can honestly do it however you all desire. I think that's definitely a practical response. Go ahead and get that in writing. I only point out that in the future, it could potentially change, that, his ownership interest in the company could change. And so we would just want to address that type situation in the policy. If you do desire for one affidavit, we'll just revise the policy to add some language that if that statement changes, then we would expect the affidavit to be updated of something of that sort. But we should have a written draft to you all at the next meeting of the policy, and then I think this affidavit issue will be able to follow the language of the policy, and hopefully will, illuminate for you all kind of where our thoughts are with it. And then, if you have any revisions or suggestions, certainly glad to consider those.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
So did we agree to leave this on the agenda to vote for tonight, or did we take it off so we can get the affidavit? I prefer it to stay on, they've been waiting a while.
Let's go ahead and do the project.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on that? If not, okay, let's go to alcohol license application, 1984 South Georgia Parkway.
Jimbo, you want
Who is that?
to, this is the first one, I don't know if you've got a copy of it, but save and stop.
Same one.
Save Sean.
This is the application for Save and Stop. It's sold or selling, and the new owner is applying for a consumption off premises beer and wine. So to sell beer and wine at that store. He had no disqualifiers.
You just said consumption on premises,
Off premises.
off premises.
Did I say on? I meant off. I'm sorry. It's off premises. Previously they've had this license under a different owner. So it's just changing hands.
You did the paperwork on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, on 1997 State Street, that's be the same thing too?
This is a consumption on premises license. Yes, sir. It's the former Denison Marty's. It has sold, and the new owner is applying for a consumption on premises license for beer, wine, and liquor, for distilled spirits. He had no disqualifiers as well.
He hadn't been disqualified. Okay. Any discussion on it? Anybody got? Anybody from the floor? All right, thanks, James.
Thank you.
Okay, we got 8 lawn care service bid award. Have some of this work around here.
Yes, so we bid this twice.
We bid it twice.
We had to bid it twice, primarily because of the numbers came back, and so we rebid it, and we got 6 bids. And the lowest bid was Southeastern Lawn Pro at $3,775 a month. And there's information in the packet there that lists all the properties that we have to have maintained. I think it's a total of 15 altogether.
Scott, this isn't something we use that inmate group for, or are you scared about getting them too close to public?
Well, that plays a lot into it, depending on where they are and so forth. I do know that there's certain areas, and this has been in the past, not just here, but other places where we receive complaints when inmates are in a certain area with traffic and such. I'm sure the city has one time faced that too, but typically it works better this way. Not only that, if you have an area that needs to be maintained, it might be an area of time when, there's an issue going on with not getting enough inmates and that kind of thing. So then it would be kind of a touch and go situation. So this is how we've been doing it in the past. It works fine, but if we could use the inmates, it would definitely save a good bit of money. But it's not really reliable. It would work in certain indications or situations where we had, things that needed to be cleaned up for events or whatever, and then sometimes we can get the inmates to do that. They do a good job. It's just that it's touch and go because you're not sure if you can get them there in time, and it may be on a time period when they're out and so forth. It could be the correctional officers on vacation or something to that effect.
Any more on it? How many times are they gonna cut it a month?
I believe, is it in the specs every other, is it every once?
What you got in the
Once,
specs on?
one area is
Some
four.
months it's once a month, some months it's twice
A
a
month.
month, every other week. It was different in the specs.
On the as needed, ain't it?
Kinda sorta, yeah. If it's down once a month and it needs more, they're gonna do it.
Okay. Well, at least we can have it cut twice a month, anyway.
During the heavy road months, yes.
Just like my yard at the house, I had to cut it once a week.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah, I know. Okay. All right, any more on it?
Well, I guess, if we're talking about the high growth market, what about when you don't have, when it's like during the winter time, what are they basically
They're gonna
doing?
pick up all the trash and all the parking lots, they're gonna load whatever needs to be loaded, spray pesticides, do pruning that needs to be done. It was all listed in the specs.
And this is all inclusive in that
Yes,
monthly amount, okay.
yes.
Okay. Any more? Okay, the commissioners have any items?
I've got a couple, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Mr. Barnard might remember back a few months ago, maybe close to a year, we discussed some ways to reduce the cost of ambulance service, try to cut some costs, the number of calls you get. Somebody falls, somebody forgot their medicine, can you go to the grocery store for me and get my medicine, that kind of stuff. And we discussed it before, and I've noticed that there's some North Georgia counties implementing this. I've talked to Dr. Parham if he could give us the background on it, but I would like to officially establish a system where a captain or the shift captain on the ambulance service shift would have a separate vehicle, non-emergency, be equipped for like first aid, first responder, and could go to these calls that are not emergency. There's just a ton of them, and it's always been a problem. But Bill, could you come up, just kind of give some background, just a way to reduce the cost? I mean, you'll never reduce all the cost, but it's just a way to have somebody out there like a rover who can make those calls. Then I know that Chief Meadows, the fire department, did a lot of that during the pandemic shutdown, going to these kind of non-emergency calls because they're all first responders. So could you kind of tell them what we talked about?
That is the idea that, at least half our calls does not result in transport, and actually more, 60%. We have a lot of automatic dispatch with domestic disputes, assaults, etc. And then we have falls that need assist, but no transport, no injury, just assisted at home. We have the potential to also use this unit we're talking about to kind of do some preemptive visits to chronically ill patients to help make sure they're taking their medication. And now that would be low priority. That's after the calls are done, and if we could work it in. But particularly over the past year, there was a lot of infield triage also. You know, they tried to keep sick COVID patients at home to be treated rather than if burden's the word, but rather than take them to the hospital. So we got a lot of calls to go out and assess their oxygen level, blood pressure, et cetera. I don't know what the future holds, but that would be another good use of this. And we could do it with existing personnel, and like you said, it would be the captain or lieutenant or designee.
And not to interrupt, but Mr. Cox says he has a vehicle that could assign to that shift captain.
That's what
So
we would
without
need.
any more cost.
That's what we would need, and a few other supplies. I mean, I would say that shift captain would also be doing the shift command, so it would have to be pretty well equipped for emergency first response and as an emergency vehicle to do further command of the shift. That's top priority.
But it wouldn't be life support.
We need a monitor defibrillator on that.
It won't be a unit with life support that has to go and get somebody up off the floor. Unless needed.
I kind of envision it to be the captain doing that would also double as the shift command if needed. But I mean, ideally, and in the future, we could move toward just a complete community paramedic type unit that is just committed to those errands and not burdened by the other emergency.
And as happened in the past, Chief Meadows, the fire department would be available for calling.
Yes, and I haven't talked to Dee, but I mean, I don't have to ask him because, you know, they support us 100%, and a lot of times we could avoid tying up a transport ambulance if we had this first response unit, and then fire could help us, like lift someone that's not injured, get them off the floor, get them back to bed, assess them, and I know Dee's going to say yes on helping us with that, and that would keep our transport units available for emergencies.
It just seemed like a way to give a little bit higher level of service, Myra, to the community. It would be city, county, and help reduce some cost with a little bit higher service. You know, I personally think that this is under Scott's purview. I mean, he could implement it now, but I would like to see the commission approve it and support it.
Who's gonna make the call of whether a unit goes or the captain goes? And do we incur any liability because even though he's there, if he has to wait on somebody to transport? If they get things turned back.
Yes, sir. The captain would make the call as to whether transport was needed and consult with the ER physician if need be, which is, you know, what they do now. And the second thing is we wouldn't incur any liability because they would start care on the patient. I mean, any unusual liability other than what we have now.
So even though they may wait on an ambulance to get there, that's still good.
Yes, sir, because it happens now, you know, when we have all the ambulances tied up, sometimes they have to wait on Brantley, Pierce, or fire to go check them out. So, I mean, I don't think we'd be creating an extra liability. I mean, on a case by case, I guess it could happen, but we'd try to guard against that.
Is that captain going to have time to adequately supervise his people and respond?
I think it will vary on a daily basis. There will be times that they'll have plenty of time. There will be times they'll have little or none. But I would say it could always be shuttled back to a 911 dispatch. I mean, it'll be 911 dispatch anyway. But you know what I mean. It could fall back to a transport ambulance. Certainly, if they could not respond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's going to be doing the screening?
I'm sorry?
Who's going to do the screening to figure out who goes?
It would be the captain, and they're usually the highest experience. I started to say trained. I mean, there's similar training among the paramedics, but they have the most experience. But I always tell them to run the case by the emergency room doctor to get their agreement if there's any question, or even on a every case basis, because they're our medical control.
I mean, what I'm saying though is, if a call comes in, said my wife fell last night, and I couldn't get her up. Once the call goes into 911, who's going to screen that call?
Oh, no, it'll still be given out as any other call that comes in for EMS. Is that what you're asking, like screening and dispatch?
Well, I'm trying to figure out who is going to make the call to send the captain out there or send the ambulance out.
Oh, I see. The captain.
Okay.
I mean, forgive me, but yeah. And we get a lot of those calls. They're not injured, but they just need help up. And we still assess them. They might have passed out because their blood sugar is low or their blood pressure is low. So we don't just help them up, we assess them. But right now, from time to time, we've done this. And I mean, the captain gets all the fire standbys. I think another good one would be like domestic dispute standbys, where people end up not injured, but they dispatch it out automatically with law enforcement. And then the third thing being assist patient at home, and I think that's what you're asking about. The captain can step in and say, "I'll go check that out."
I would like to see us support it for a 6-month trial, Mr. Chairman. See how it goes.
Say they implement this in other places, other communities.
Yes, North Georgia, according to ACCG, some North Georgia counties are doing it.
I mean, we already got employees to do it.
Yeah.
We got vehicles to
Right.
do it.
Like I say, I support what Jerry's saying for 6 months, hey, try it and see how it works. If it doesn't.
Sounds very good. And
I'll report back to us to how it's going.
I will. Yeah. Absolutely. And thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing, Mr. Chairman, I'll be quick. We've got I guess, President Biden's pandemic recovery fund that we're going to vote on to get it. And I think, hadn't some of that money already come in, Scott?
Yes, sir. Half of it has.
Half.
Yes, yeah.
During the last year, we all know how bad it was. We had county employees out, coming in, working sick, the fire department taking EMS calls, just all the county employees, but like everywhere else, were just in turmoil. I think that the county employees did an excellent job of getting through that and keeping the county operating, because the calls to get roads graded didn't stop, ambulance calls didn't stop, houses caught on fire. But people were going home, having to stay home for 10 days or whatever. And I would like to recommend that this commission approve a stipend of $2,500 per county employee who was on the payroll based on Mr. Moy's calendar as a way to kind of make up for some of that. I think it would be well spent, like Commissioner Burst alluded to. There are people already lining up to get into that money, but I think this commission should take care of our employees first, and I make a recommendation that this commission approve that.
Okay.
Yeah. I support what Jerry said in part on that, as far as the employees, and a lot of times we make mention about how valuable our employees are and what good employees we have, but it's not reflective sometimes in something as tangible as money. That's one way you can really show your appreciation. Now, the part where I say I impart is because I don't know exactly how much. I think that's something we need to look at as far as how much can we really, I guess, afford at this time to do it. And I think we definitely need to do something for our employees, because I think we have some of the best and the greatest, but I think we need to kind of navigate through this here with some caution and don't get too far out ahead of our skis on it. And I support it here 100%, but mine, I think that's something that we need to talk. Maybe
Yeah, I want to put on the table so we can discuss it and end up with that.
Okay.
Nobody use a calculator real quick and give us how much that would be if we paid all the employees $2,500?
Probably about $800,000 or $900,000, wouldn't it?
About 600, I think, wasn't it?
Let's see, if it's all full-time for last calendar year, 747,000.
I think you had a date certain that you would start.
Yeah, I think it's it actually for employees of, I believe it was January of 2020 is when the clock started and goes through, I believe, this past March. Wasn't that right, Beverly? Something like that. It was a little over a year, starting in January of 2020.
So based on the information you've given me, that this is a legitimate way to use these funds. Right.
Yeah, I just sent a text to HR. 241 employees at $2,500, excuse me, is 600,000. I had the wrong number.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta add your social security tax and all.
Yeah.
So how much have we got in that fund?
Right now, it's half of it's 3.7 million that they give you. They give you half of it up front, and then the other half some months later, I believe. I don't remember exactly the time period. And it's actually one of the stipulations of their allowable cost for that stipend to be given to what they refer to as essential employees, government essential employees.
Then we got, what, $65,000 to make up for lost aviation fuel sales at the airport?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And then you also received that supplemented the budget, the 1.2 million. We had to justify that money with payroll or personnel costs, and we were given the 1.2 million of the CARES Act money. I believe I'm getting them confused, but that's been some months ago.
I definitely support what Jerry said 100%, but I think we need to maybe get with you and whoever the people, number crunches, and find out what we can do, you know, and, but I support 100%.
When we're gonna decide?
Well, you just brought it up, Jerry. I mean, give it a break.
All it takes is yes.
Well, I support it, but like I say, it's just the money part of it. Yeah, so we halfway there.
I was thinking about what Dennis said about that miracle lead. I mean, you know, could that money be used for that?
I'll check into it. I'm not sure. Like I believe Commissioner Burson alluded to it earlier. Yeah. It's clear as mud, so to speak. There's things that you think would fit and would be there, but we haven't seen a definite example or samples of what you could use those monies for. Now, what you're talking about stipend, it's specifically listed, but when it comes to infrastructure and things like, you know, the ball field, that would be the kind of things that we'd have to run past with the state to see if that would be an allowable cost.
I'm with Commissioner Pope. I'd like to see that done for our employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we could have like 2 or 3 different scenarios if we gave this amount, you know, whatever, you know. And that's all I'm saying. I support 110% for the employees. I think we got the greatest, but I'm just saying when it gets down to the amount, this is what we need to try to, you know.
What amount do you want?
Whatever we can afford.
We can afford this.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got 3 points of you on. I know you're not wanting to give up all that now.
No. Why not?
But what I'm saying.
He'll take it. Tax commissioner take it.
Huh?
Tax commissioner take it.
Tax commissioner take it.
I say put it on the agenda and vote on it. Let's do it.
Vote to do it, but as far as the amount, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, we can run this by for the next whatever and not make a decision.
Well, I think between next meeting or whatever, or we have a call meeting or whatever, you know, to say this is what we want to do and this is what we as a commission agree to. And we got Scott here, we got Beverly here, and go that route.
I think we're fine. I think you're complicating it, but
No, I mean, again, I agree, to wanna give the employee the stipend, it's just the amount that we're gonna do, the amount we're gonna give them.
Mr. Chairman, why don't we put it on the agenda and we'll vote on it whenever.
Okay, we're gonna put that on the agenda then.
Okay.
Scott, I guess. Anything else on it? Anybody want? If any more commission items? County manager items?
I don't have anything, Mr.
Don't
Chairman.
have anything?
No, sir.
Adjourn? Your motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Now,
Second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Y'all wanna take about a 5-minute break
Yes.
before you start the public work?
call this meeting order. This is a public hearing for the budget. We done did the roll call and everything, so we're gonna carry on into it. All right. On presentation for the proposed budget for the fiscal year ending June the 30th of 2022. Now, we got any public comments?
Do we need to get Beverly to explain?
Yeah, she can go through, if you wanna just go through your
Beverly,
handout,
would you
yes, sir.
please come and
You guys looking at the spreadsheet? This one?
Yeah.
Let me say it again, please, I wasn't looking.
oh, you
Yeah.
this thing
This
here?
one?
Okay.
On the first page there, it's got our fund budgets. And you see how much each one of our funds, what we're budgeting for next year, and it's a total of 43 mil in all those budgets. The general fund budget was set on the estimated revenue that we're expecting to get next year. So that was how I set that up.
That's ad valorem taxes, I guess.
The effects of COVID-19 had put us last year in no special pay increases, a hiring freeze, and no new positions, and the budgets could be cut if the revenues fell off. Well, we didn't do too much cutting. We skimming. Every time I could see something that looked like we could do without, I was trying to figure out how to compensate and do away with that so that we could get this. And if you look at the pie chart on page 2, that shows our revenues. And our revenues are up 4.4, I'm estimating they'll be up 4.41% from last year's budget. And again,
That's with keeping the millage rate where it's at, correct?
yes.
Yeah. If the
Yes.
millage rate stays where it's at.
And then on the page 3, you see the FY22 expenses, and you see the biggest clump right there is public safety. Our EMS, our fire, our sheriff's office, our jail. And because of the COVID, there's been a lot of overtime work when people didn't work, and I see that continuing because people still are getting COVID. So the jail expenses for medical expenses was through the roof last year because we had to hold inmates. So hopefully that's going to go down once the judicial system gets started again and we can get some of those inmates adjudicated and out of our system.
Which we had a couple HIV cases out there too.
We had several, and those medications are extremely high per month. And I did factor in a 2% COLA for the employees, but our insurance, our health insurance went up 6.25%, most of that on the employee, that part was. That's not what went up on our side. So we're just going to have to monitor our budgets throughout the year and make sure that we're staying in line. And then on page 4, I've got a FY22 comparison to this past year. And these numbers for this past year was just budgeted numbers because all my revenue's not come in yet. So I won't know any true numbers until all those numbers come in. One of the biggest things that I was shocked at was our lost revenue. We were told last year when we budgeted that we would probably not get but about $3 million from lost. Well, because of all the stimulus checks that people have gotten, evidently people have been spending money. So our lost revenue was up 9.11%, and I still have one more month to record for that lost money. So now if the government finally quits sending out stimulus payments and people quit buying, it might go back down, but we're going to see. Then I put something in here. We still have some money left in the 08 SPLOST, and it's for economic development and road and bridges and drainage. So we're working to use those amounts up. And then in the 2014 SPLOST, we actually got 1.3 revenue from that this year. But that was because there was an audit on one business, and we got a big sum, like $600,000 or something, that was able to be put back in there. And then some of the months we've received a little bit, and some of the months we haven't. But we've already cut the city their share of what they were supposed to get of that. And then the numbers below that are balances we have that we can still spend in these line items.
So on the 2014 SPLOST right there, it says Public Safety Training Center, $7.9 million.
No,
What is that?
I think that's 7921.
7,900.
That's what's left in
On that line item.
Left in at 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I put a .03 on the end, and none of the rest of them had that. I should have left that off. On page 6, you see where we received Georgia Department of Transportation funds. We received $1,545,944 funds from GDOT through May of this past year, and we've already spent over $4 million on resurfacing roads and improvements that were needed for the county roads. That $4 million, that's overall from all funds, but GDOT gave us that 1.5 to go towards that.
That's, just so you know, that's LMIG money
Right.
that we get annually, plus our safety money that we got to do the work out in Wakeona intersection, those kind of things. So a total of 1.5.
I'd like to go back and ask you something on that 14 right there. This money here, is it that's left on all these projects? You say that's what's?
That's the balance in the line items, in those line items.
They could be, I mean.
When it's voted on, the referendum has what percentage is going to be spent here, what percentage here, right. What percentage here, what percentage here, what percentage here. The last time it was calculated, this was what the balance was on those percentages.
Okay.
Now they
Some
could
of it
change.
Won't go back to be spent on that, will it?
Do what now?
It will not be like the, some of those items, it won't go back and be spent on it. It's completed, right? Is that right, Scott? Am I saying it wrong?
You can move from one
Yeah,
line item
can
to
that
the
money
other.
be moved?
And if you've got a project complete and it's
Right.
100% complete, nothing else to be done, then if there's any monies left in that line, you can move to another project that's ongoing.
Right.
Yes, sir. As long as you get them complete, that's the key.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it can be used in another
Right.
Okay,
project.
just like, to piggyback on that, just like say the recreation complex improvement, the 69,000 left in there. So is everything been done at the rec?
Well, with that one, no, that was to make improvements and do other things with batting cage, those kind of things. And typically with those, this was actually created before I started. Those were put in there as an estimate of what certain projects would cost, and sometimes when you get them all done, you've got money left over, and so that amount there is what's left in there. Now, it could be that you develop another project for an enhancement. Let's say you build another batting cage. You could say, well, we've got some money left in there, let's use that for that project and use that money up for recreation.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So just like when Barry come, Miracle League, if we say, okay, we got it out there and we could use this money toward
yes, sir.
that effort that he's doing out there.
Yes, sir, because it's an enhancement of the facility.
Right.
Just
It's
like
already
it's any
there.
other thing at the rec department that they need, we could use this money.
Yeah,
for that.
if you're trying to replace one of the roofs out there, I do know that some of those buildings out there need to be renovated. Some of the siding and that kind of thing, so you could use it for that, whatever you put into it as an investment.
And that'd be to any recreation complex that the county has, like the Memorial Park or
Yes, sir.
Trimming the
It's
Nerve.
all grouped under recreation. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Public facility projects, what's that? If you don't,
That is anything that the county own and maintain, facilities, buildings,
Bill?
yeah, sir? Yeah, it's any facility, yeah. Health department's another one. A lot of folks don't understand, we have to maintain the health department, the library. And so those monies can be used for repairs and those kind of things. Typically, it's air conditioning and, roofs. That's been our past.
Okay.
If you go down on page 6 to the T-Splost, our single county T-Splost, that's a total amount that we have received through May of this past year, and that's $10,564,000. And we had one joint project with the city, which is the overpass, and they put 5 and we put 5. And then the other county projects are listed below with the access road in Jamestown, street resurfacing, safety projects, and bridge improvements.
I want to ask this question one more time. I think I've done it several times already. $5 million that we set aside for the overpass. Now, is that money in the bank?
Yes.
Yes.
It's in the bank waiting on the state to say we
Yes.
invest $5 million.
And there'll still be some time before we have to actually send the money to them, because we still have to enter an agreement with DOT, and it has to go through all their approval process. It's a lengthy process, but the money is there, yes, sir.
We calculated what we had to set aside and not touch each month until we got that money, and it's there.
But we've drawn pretty good interest off of that, aren't we?
No,
They ain't
the
paying much.
interest is not good. Not good right now.
One thing I will point out though, they're under where it says county projects, Jamestown Access Road, that $5 million was actually budgeted because at the time it was being discussed about putting in an overpass to get over the highway and the railroad track. And then that changed. So now the project we have is the Wind Clay project, and estimates are about 2.5 million. So it's only really half of that amount if the bids come in around that amount. So you'll have 2.5 million left in that line if, like I said, if the bids come in about what the estimate is.
But
That
we
you could
still
use.
got the northern end to do too.
You still got the northern end, so you could use it for that if you needed to. The only problem there is like we've talked about, you'd have to go outside the CSX right of way and really have to build a whole new road. So you could use it for that if that comes to fruition.
Okay.
The page 7's got a regional T-Splost information, and that's those discretionary funds that we get. That 1 penny that the county collects or the state collects, we get 1/4 of that penny, and the state gets 3/4 of that penny. So we get this money every month, and we have not spent any of this yet. This is still sitting there until we, I think Scott we were looking at the equipment, the public works equipment, which we haven't decided where we're going to go, but it's usually around $81,000 a month is what they give us. And we didn't have, we did have one job. It's the Blackshear Bridge, right?
Well, yeah, state, but ours, we did have 600,000, and I don't know if there was only maybe 1 or 2 of them on commission at the time. We had 600,000 for our portion of Albany Avenue, and the city asked for 2.3 million, I believe, for their portion. Well, the state didn't give them all of what they needed. I don't think they only gave them like 1.6. So they needed extra funds to go in it just to do the city portion, which is really the worst portion of Albany Avenue. And so the county commission at maybe 2 years ago, I guess, I can't remember exactly, gave the city that $600,000 to finish up that part inside the city.
You guys have any questions?
So right now in that regional T-Splosh, we got how much in there now? $1.7 million?
Right.
Okay, and it can be used for just pretty much like road improvements.
Well, we've got a list of projects to spend that money on, don't we?
Did we list some projects?
The discretionary money?
Yeah.
No, sir.
No, we,
No, that's single county. Single county.
Single county we do.
Single county's kind of, it's all been allocated. Unless we have some projects that don't, that the bids come in lower what the projections are. And if that's the case, then whatever's free you can use for other things.
So that email you sent out this past week on Nichols Highway, widening it.
Right.
So that was gonna come out of the T-Splosh?
That's correct. It was one of the items in
Single.
T-Sauce. Yeah, single county. Yes, sir.
but that don't come out of this part.
No, sir. It won't. Yeah.
They don't. Okay,
It comes out of the single county.
Yeah, they do that.
We get confused too, so don't
Did I
sometimes
miss
I have to
that?
think what fund.
Is that somewhere in here? The single county?
It's on page
yeah.
6 at the bottom, the
Page 6.
T-Splosh.
We already talked about it.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's why I'm saying those were actually allocated to those projects, so they, in a sense, have been allocated.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly.
Thank you very much.
So we need to put this on the agenda and vote on the budget?
Yes, sir. It's on there that under tab A was that resolution that actually approves the budget. And one of the things you can always remember, like with a budget, you can amend it anytime you need to or want to. So, it's all it is a planning tool. So if we get down, even 2 months later and realize we need to do something different, we can always amend it.
In other words, not set in stone once we
Right.
do it.
That's correct. It's a work, kind of a working notebook.
We do have a balanced budget at this time.
Yes, sir.
To work for.
Yeah, and it's really not much different than the previous budget, only that we will not have the SPOS revenues coming into the budget like we had.
Okay.
And this is based on as far as on the millage rate, leaving it at the same. This is based on leaving it the same.
That's correct, yes, sir. Leaving the millage rate at the current rate, which was 15.240, I think. I believe that's what it is.
And if we did the rollback, it would be
I don't have that in front of me. You remember what it is, Roger? What the rollback millage rate was? It's 15.240 now.
Right now, the millage rate is 15.240. It would go, I think it was 14.870.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Maybe 14.870 is what the millage rate would roll back to on the preliminary numbers.
Yep.
But I'll have the hard numbers. They're going to send the files over tomorrow morning. So by Thursday, he should have pretty much everything he needs to give you guys.
So when is the earliest that you need this from us?
Well,
What we gonna do?
the inspection date's going to be August 18th. So if the millage rate is left where it's at 15.240, that's going to be considered a tax increase. So you have to advertise. There's advertising requirements. It's going to take a while. So and it's going to push it close to it. So that's why I told Scott before I left from the work session that I'm going to look at the calendar and actually look at the dates, get it all set up, when we got to have it, when you got to have it advertised, be able to hold all the meetings.
We can always have a call meeting.
Yeah. And of course, the commission has to approve the Board of Education's millage rate once they set it. And the last I heard from them was they was going to use a rollback rate. So they just all they have to do is just advertise at one time. So if we can get that done. everything over here, everything should be good, should be fine.
So if we voted on the budget, if we vote on this budget, we're voting right now based on leaving the millage rate, but if we, I mean, if we talk about two different things, or can we say, well, okay, we're gonna just vote on the budget, but it will be at the same rate, or we can do the rollback?
We'll do the rollback, yes, sir.
Well, can we go ahead and vote on the,
Budget.
leave the millage rate like it is?
Yes, sir. The only thing is we typically, well, we could do ours, but we, yeah.
You can actually vote, if y'all decide y'all wanna vote to keep the millage rate, that's where y'all decide that's just what you're gonna do, but then you gotta have the hearings.
That's right.
Yep.
And then you actually you'll have to vote on the third hearing to adopt the millage rate. So, I mean, y'all could come to an agreement, you know, a general consensus, and that way it'll put everything in motion a lot quicker.
That way we can plan the calendar, because you've got advertising dates that you've got to meet. So it sets.
And the biggest thing is with the paper only being once a week, that's where the big push is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, wait,
What's the
we need an
consensus?
official vote to roll back or retain the same millage? Or you just need to know the consensus?
Just need a consensus, so then staff has direction about which direction to go, so they'll know how much they have to advertise. But the vote itself, the legal vote, cannot be taken
Till the end.
until after we've had those public hearings.
But
That's
the
right.
budget is balanced based on the fact that we were
That's
not
right.
gonna drop it.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Is that everybody's consensus to leave it like it is, the millage rate?
I do.
I don't think we can do the rollback
Leave it like it
right now.
Might leave it like it is.
is. Okay.
What, you're looking like?
Well, I thought I heard Commissioner first say use the rollback.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I said.
You said rollback?
Mhm.
I say leave it as is.
Leave it as it
Mine
is.
leave it as it is.
I leave it as it is.
You got 3 to 1.
There you go.
okay.
Any more comments on it?
Good job. Thank you.
We, need to adjourn this meeting, this, hearing, don't we?
Yes, sir.
And then go into the.
Yes, sir. If we take a break, because I need to modify the regular meeting agenda. It won't take me about 5 minutes.
Okay,
And
I'll go ahead and adjourn
Mr.
this.
Chairman, I don't think you will have any, but just so we'll formally have it on the record, if there was any comment from the audience, just give the audience the opportunity to comment on the budget if they desire at the public hearing.
Yeah, I think I asked for public comment, but we didn't have.
You did
it.
at the beginning, yeah, after our, so I think we're good now.
You want to adjourn?
Need to vote to close it out.
Yeah. I hear a motion to adjourn.
So
Make the
moved.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.